The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent, along with Addie Rich. Our podcast is dedicated to amplifying the voices of the disability community. I am a polio survivor, and Addie?
I have cerebral palsy.
The holiday season has begun. How's your week? Have you been doing some of that stuff?
So Saturday, we went to a Christmassy market and had a really good time. But typically, as you know, when we talk about it, I take my walker versus my chair. Well, This time I decided to do a chair because it was a half-mile walk just to get to the entrance to the market. And then I was like, okay, well, I'd be tired at the end of that, and then I just wouldn't want to see the market. Well, I've forgotten how much you just see people's butts and like laps and bellies when seated, and it was insane crowded. Like, we literally stayed probably 30 minutes and realized, like, one, I had about 1 million children land in my lap, and then two, like, it was just no fun. You couldn't get to, it was supposed to be a German Christmas market. I couldn't get to the stalls because the lines were so long and there were so many people. So we're gonna go back, but we're gonna go back like when I'm just getting off of work. Yeah. So that I'm not competing with everybody. It was dumb to try a Saturday night as the first go round, but it was good material, and I knew you would giggle about like how much I was just like, I can't. It was not Christmassy. It was a whole bunch of butts and people yelling at their kids and like.
And I'm sure that was worth to have that experience. Now you'll go back and be able to actually shop.
Yes, for sure. And I'll dress warmer because it was like 38 degrees and it was chilly. So, but we had a good time. We got out of the house. We saw some decorations. We saw peopling.
That's funny you say that. Yeah, because I've figured that out too early on and riding in the wheelchair. And you know, sometimes it could be a good thing. You know, if you get behind the right butt in it. Right. I'm a dog.
This was just a whole bunch of people like getting flustered too because they're either trying to keep track of their child, get what they want, stand in line for food. Like, nobody's actually in the holiday cheer mood. They're like,
yes,
Jesus, why did I come today?
You know, it sounds like there's just a lot of frenetic energy, and that just will cause people to, to match that energy. And it was a cluster, but we're going to go back and we're timing it differently so that we can wander as if we're in Europe. Very nice. Very nice.
Eat the food I wanted to eat that we didn't even try.
Yeah.
How about you?
Let's see. This week had Action Club meeting, which I think we posted something the other day, or we're getting ready to on social media, so you can look for it. But it was awesome. They have a meeting. The Action Club, let me just back up just a touch, is with Kiwanis, and it is the club, because they have like Key Club in the high schools and college clubs and all that. And this is the club for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And these are the people like I went to the ranch with a few months ago, and they have dances, and I go to those, and they're just so awesome. They make me feel like a rock star, and I kind of forget, because I get to the meeting, and the meeting was kind of already going on, and and I walk in the door, and it's just like, Doug, everybody's yelling, so it's good for me on that end.
Right,
but
his cheering section.
Yes, and they're just, I'm so proud of them, because they were talking about some of the service projects they were going to be doing, and they found a family that is in need, and they probably won't have a Christmas if it doesn't if they don't help out. So they're going to do a toy drive, reach out to the community, and do all that.
Yeah, you did post it on socials the other day because I saw it and I thought, oh, how fun. And one of the things with that I'm sure you see it, but I, like in working with Special Olympics and stuff for myself, is people that have a different intellectual level are so much more grateful and so much more like they drop the cranky of the holiday season, right? Like, they're ecstatic. They want you to see their thing, and they're super excited to tell you about it. And so they're really bringing the joy of Christmas to the family. It is true joy, unadulterated by agenda and all those things. So I'm super excited for
They always seem to, find the bright side to anything that's going on. Yeah. So, they're just a joy to be around. There's no two ways about it. I always enjoy it. I always say I get more out of it than they do.
Right?
So I feel a little selfish. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of my week. And otherwise, just kind of the usual stuff, getting ready for the holidays, did a little online shopping, got some things that have come in and, planning, like the final details for different events. Like we got together with some friends on New Year's Eve every year. So we're.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's fun. We go to a little restaurant and same one every year, great Mexican food. And, then sometimes time allows, we go back to their house and play some games. Yeah. And then out of there by like 10 o'clock and in bed, because we're all a little older. We don't want to deal with all that. So.
Who are you calling old? I am in bed by 10 o'clock. I will set my watch for 11:55. Thank you.
Not talking about you. But
I'm saying I'm with the crowd.
You are? You're welcome then. And I had to stop calling myself older a few years ago and just realized that I've arrived. I'm old.
You're seasoned.
Yeah, I am seasoned, well seasoned. Good time. So looking up to this weekend is on Friday night I've got the annual Christmas dinner that my contractor does, which is amazing. It's good food and they've got their place. They have an old Victorian house that they inherited from their one of their parents on either side, and they've taken it. Being a construction company, they can do this, and they've kind of refurbished it. But the gal that it's a couple, it's like one of those things with Chip and Joanne or something. There's a designer and a construction guy. Well, she's taken this place and turned it into like this little mini amusement park almost.
Amazing.
Yeah, they do like a mother-daughter tea. They do a Halloween thing. They do Christmas, obviously. I mean, they must have 30 or 40 Christmas trees throughout this Victorian house. I'll take pictures and I'll
I was
share
going to
them.
say, you better take pictures.
Yeah,
You're making me jealous.
That's Friday night. And then I've lost count, 20th or so time of emceeing the Possibilities Dinner is this Sunday night. I think I posted a few things on that. I've been putting years ago, they had me read all these names out loud. And then, somebody there, thank God, they had the good sense to, hey, let's just pre-record all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so they put together video presentations with pictures of them and everything, and I do the voiceover. So working good. That's always a fun event too. Good food, seeing people that you just, there's no way I can see everybody over the course of the year. There's just too many. I mean, the crowd is like 800-900 people, and I know a lot of them. A lot of them have been on this show. So so it'll be fun. All right, let's break and we'll come back. And we're going to meet a gentleman, Dan Palacios, and he is somebody that I met. I think I met him at the Push to the Pier down in Long Beach. Yeah. Nice, beautiful, sunshiny day. We're pushing down the beach and roped him into doing this, so he'll be on here. All right, just a little bit here as we take a break for Ugyar Professional Training.
At Ugyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Ugyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Ugyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Ugyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
They put me on a pedestal, I'm not here to inspire. I've got my flaws, my highs, my lows, my own heart's fire. I laugh, I cry, I break, I'm then just like anyone. I'm not your symbol of courage, I'm just me, done. I've got dreams that soar, fears that bind, moments of grace and times I'm blind. I'm not your hero or your saint, I'm real, I'm raw, no restraint. I'm more than your story, more than your view. I'm flawed and I'm brilliant, I'm kind and I'm cruel. I'll lift you up or let you down. I'm a fighter, a lover, a a face in the crowd.
Welcome back to Walk and Roll Live, segment number 2. Doug and Addie here, and Daniel is here with us. He is a young man that I met on, and I think there's been a number of guests here recently who I've met on the Push to the Pier, right? We met a few months ago, and like I do with everybody, I accost them and ask them if they want to come on Walk and Roll Live to tell their story, and Daniel has been gracious enough to say yes. So thank you for being here. And one other thing is he's one of the few, I think he might be number 3 of a guest that's actually in the studio, which is nice. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed. Thank you for asking.
Hi.
Daniel
Hi, Addie. How are you?
Palacios, right? Palacios.
Palacios. Yes. It's like palace, but plural.
I gotcha.
Spanish.
Gotcha. And as it turns out, we're neighbors, right? We're
What a
pretty
small
close.
world.
Yeah.
You know, we went that sea out to the sea, pushed to the sea, and then we conversed, and then to find out that you live locally just 7 minutes away. That's just
right.
So
Right
as,
around the corner.
just around the corner. Exactly.
yeah, it's a small world after all. Right?
It is a small world.
So we always like to, kind of go back, turn the Wayback Machine back and kind of get to know you a little bit more, in your childhood and that kind of thing. So you grew up in Hollywood, right?
Yes.
Went to Hollywood High?
I actually went to Hollywood High. My parents purchased a home in 1968 out in East Hollywood, and so that was our district to go to Hollywood High. But we went to the private school, the Catholic school, which was across the street from us.
Gotcha.
And it was which is called Immaculate Heart of Mary. And then I went to an all-boys school, which was Paternoster. And then my last 2 years, it got expensive, so Hollywood High was my choice. So
Your final home?
Yeah. And now, as a lot of people listening, from around the country, and that idea of California and then Hollywood High, they're probably thinking, did he go to school with like stars and celebrities?
there were probably stars in the beginning, I would say I never had a chance to personally meet them.
Yeah.
It was kind of like get to your class and go home. So, and I didn't do any extra activities or sports, anything like that. So it's just more to just going.
And I wonder, you could have been going to school with future stars. Maybe at the time they weren't, but they went somewhere.
I'm going to say probably you're right.
Yeah.
We have to go get your yearbook. Hold on while we go get the yearbook.
Go check it out.
Learn the names. Find out what other people's names were before they picked their Hollywood name. I grew up in Cali too, but we always call it Holly Weird.
Hollywood. That's
Probably
exactly what they
not
call it, right?
Because some people are different. But like Doug says, though, a lot of people that listen, they might be like, "Oh, was it like Beverly Hills 90210?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what they know, right? Like,
Right. That's what you see on TV, and you presume
realistic, but
fantasy.
Fantasy, absolutely.
Was it a shock? Obviously, going from like Catholic school.
You know what? It was a
public
big shock. Yeah, definitely. Because in private there's prayers and everything that goes with it. But that's what kind of made it hard to transition, just to keep to myself. And the few friends that I lived in my neighborhood were going to Hollywood High, so they accepted me and took me in. Yeah. So it made me feel comfortable, because it was kind of I don't know anybody here. Yeah. It's new, just trying to make new friends.
No sports, you were saying?
No sports at all. But in private school, when I was in Paternoster, it was a boys' school. I did track and field. And my specialty was a mile, so I did do some running there and some track events.
So when you went to high school, you just didn't pick any of that stuff up? What'd you do in your spare time?
Spare time, just I probably, at the time, BMX was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And just, getting your bike and going up to Griffith Park, and my brother and I, my friend across the street, we'd just go there and just pedal up there.
What kids did in those days,
In those days, right?
Yeah,
we got dirty, we got filthy, we got grass.
You can come home all day long.
All day long until evening.
No screen time.
Exactly.
Children don't know what that is now, right?
I know. I know.
Being whistled to come home. No. What is that? Drawing on the sidewalk, because we lived in a neighborhood kind of like that too, where there were kids that we went to school with, right? So you'd all collide at the bottom of the hill of the neighborhood, just getting hopscotch and all stupid stuff, making up stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Kids are like, what? You went outside?
Yeah. And I think kids these days have lost that skill just to, go to the neighbor kid and knock on the door, say, can somebody come out and play?
Right.
They've just kind of lost that skill now, right?
I can't tell you who lives next door. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They don't even know.
They don't even know.
They don't at all. So, yeah, it's a shame. I have a 19-year-old boy that, sometimes I go, let's just go next door because he has a car that he likes. And just if you ask him, just see if you can sit in it or something, It's your dream car. You're looking to purchase a car. You got a job. So why not? Let's just get familiarized. And plus, he's being neighborly.
Yeah.
And he's a young man that has this. So I came up to him, but without my son, and I just started, just talking, breaking. And he welcomed me, if any time, and, so
you find out that people, when they're into anything that they're into, if anybody shows interest, that is rare.
Exactly.
So when somebody does show interest, they're just like ready to take you in and, you're not going to get out of there for a couple of hours, right? Yeah.
The info dump begins.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. If somebody came and like wanted to see my studio and all that, oh yeah, you got all day.
Doug's like, as long as I don't have a pantry to go to, a board meeting, I'm just going to stay here.
You're out in me. So then you get out of high school and you chose a military career.
That is correct. I went into the reserve. The station was just down the street on Gower Boulevard, and I just decided to join because, just the choices that I was making. I guess it wasn't a good choice. And I just, I need to make a career choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very
So
helpful.
looking into the Army was one of my best choices that I made.
What year was this?
We're talking 1980. 80.
So what's going on in the world?
So February
in 80?
5th in 1980. So I'm thinking, before the 80, it was Jimmy Carter was in office, and I guess the transition through, our President Ronald Reagan was coming in. So, right. So
was there any particular, theaters of war or anything like that?
I guess what I could remember is probably the Cold War, or just something like the Russia was a big threat.
Yep.
And the nuclears, we're talking nuclears at that time. So if you can just put yourself back in time and try to remember, just like nuclears, everything, and it destroys. Yeah. It's not just a bomb, but it's an atomic bomb, know?
Yeah. And that was the deal back then, is they were both pointed at each other. Kind of a standoff.
Exactly.
So then when did you get out? How long was your career?
Well, I was discharged here's what happened. So I had a motorcycle accident during my active duty.
Okay.
So my roommate, his name is David Fox, we went out a 3-day pass, like a weekend pass, but with an extra day off. So we decided to go to Las Cruces, New Mexico. We both had motorcycles. He just purchased his brand new bike. I had mine for a while, but unfortunately my bike was in the shop being repaired. So we decided to just use his bike. I'd be the passenger, he'd be the driver. And so we're, that evening, I guess he just tells me, hey, go upstairs, get your few things. I told him, I'm going to get a few things and toothbrush and everything like that and head down. But when I came down, he was gone. So I was like, well, what happened? So he came back, but he, I think he went to a bar or something, or, you kind of determine that he wasn't.
You can tell there was something wrong.
There was something wrong. There was something wrong. And so his driving explained everything. He was just driving radical fast, and I kept telling him to slow down, please slow down. Hitting him on the side because you can't really hear each other. Yeah. So on the side, I'm just telling him to slow down. And so in order to get to Las Cruces, New Mexico, we took it's called Trans Mountain Road, and it's a hilly mountain road, sort of like imagine Big Bear at the time. And so we were going about 80 miles an hour around this one turn, and just he lost control of the bike. We hit a guardrail, killed him instantly between the bike and the guardrail, and I flew off down the cliff and broke my back, T5, T6, complete, and a hairline fracture being nearly a quad. So I was blessed at the time. We were both wearing helmets. The scary thing about that was that his strap broke off, I guess, with the impact, and it just killed him. Mine was still intact, and I just survived the whole incident. So it was a miracle, is what there was, to be alive still after that impact.
And you went down the hill, so how did people know you were down the hill?
Yeah, that was my next question.
We actually had another biker with us, so that he witnessed the whole incident. And called 911 at the time, and right down the street was the a hospital. They just took me in, was able to save me. And I was in 19 days in a coma, unconscious. Mm-hmm. So when I finally wake up, I see my parents' face, and there's like all these machines around me, and I don't know what happened. Yeah. So it was kind of a shock and just understanding everything.
How long was the coma?
Yeah, it was for 19 days.
19 days.
Yes.
You're like, I just went to get my toothbrush. I was on a
right. All I can remember is just getting things together, getting my things, and then getting on the back of the bike, telling them to slow down. And done. That was it. But it was the blessing that we did have another rider with us to go. So it was four of us all together. And he just saw the whole incident and just kind of told me, because I asked him what had happened. Well, where did we go wrong? And he just explained to me exactly what I'm telling you, Doug. That you guys were driving radical, just way too fast.
So he could tell that, he was compromised.
Yeah.
All right. And then, I'm always curious with every guest, especially because we have such an age range and such a range of time periods when people get treatment. What was your rehab like?
Well, at the time, back in the 80s now, so 82 is when I got injured. I went to Fort Ord. They flew me out. Well, I was 19 days in a civilian hospital. Then I went to a military base hospital, but not very long. Maybe 3 or 4 days. And then they shipped me out to Fort Ord. And then we went to Long Beach, California. And then that's where I got my rehab in VA and Long Beach. And arriving, I could just remember the care was different. I was being at just to compare to the civilian hospital or the military base, they didn't turn you So when I arrived to the VA, I noticed I had decubital ulcers. I had ulcers on my back, on my heel, of my leg. So we've
heard them referred to as pressure sores.
Pressure sores, right.
For our folks that may not be familiar. Yeah.
Right. And these sores were just... and when the doctor had seen me, because I was wearing a cast, he immediately told me just have that removed now because, I don't have any sensations. At the time, orthopedic didn't know, or I guess. So the care is quite different. From not knowing
at the VA.
Yeah. Or from the civilian, but the VA is when they knew because one of the second best spinal cord clinics. So they took me in the right place at the right time to get my care. So just being there and most of and I was surprised the length of time that I was there. It's almost, I would say, closely to a year. But during that year, I got PT, OT, driver's training. Everything was in the best care for the vet, and that's what.
And I think we had talked about before with just some personal hygiene issues.
Right.
How to take, because your world
personal care, the simpler things we take for granted. We're not sure. Everybody's different. Now, I'm sitting in a coma. I'm waiting for things to happen, but nothing's happening, So it's like it's a new training. This is what you need to do now, And so it's just the whole idea. And
there's
cooking,
some training that
there's a simulated
take care of all those things.
Simulated kitchen to show us how to get around.
Oh, awesome!
So they actually had so you can try to cook something based on the wheelchair, just reaching everything. You got your reacher, which comes in handy. So it was just, and the therapist there, I just remember them and being the best. Yeah. It's like a family. You're almost feeling like family at the time. So
yeah. Well, for a full year, that's a long time.
That is a full
early 20s.
Right.
I'm trying to.
I'm 18. So when I joined, I'm in my 21B. So I was 20 when I got injured. 21. I celebrated my birthday in the hospital, but 21. But it's just the times that there's no regret. I just was blessed in the circumstances that I found myself to be in, that I got the quality care, and there was no amount of money that I could have paid for that care, out of pocket.
I'm curious about that. So the Army stuck with you through all of your care. At what point did your service end?
Well, the date of discharge is March 26, 1982.
Okay.
So
once they got you,
discharge
to a point where
with a
you
medical
could
discharge, yes.
Get home
and I got home, and then of course we talked about they got this GI Bill for schooling. They got this adaptive home,
Grant.
So all these blessings that just came my way, and it was funny how we live in a bubble. As the veterans, they took care of us. So we're in that bubble world with resources out there. For example, one is Triumph, and I didn't need to call on them, or at least at the time. But I'm just so happy to hear about these services provided for everybody now in the outside world now, because it's different. It's quite different now. Just from the civilian world
is a lot different now.
Exactly, and being just getting all that care, I'm thinking we all should get that care. Did you? And then I just stayed in for 3 months.
Oh, I've heard horror stories where they got no care whatsoever.
Exactly.
There was one gal that was on a couple of years ago. The only, not necessarily care, but like peer support or any training, OT kind of thing. There's a guy that stopped by the hospital for 20, 30 minutes. But what he had to say made a difference in her whole life, she said. But she doesn't even know who it is. She doesn't know what organization he came from, because it was immediately after her injury. Mm-hmm. And so, she's not, she's processing this whole change in her life. She's not remembering details like that, but she does remember that even at that little bit, it was a huge, difference for her. And it was like kind of a launching point for her to get on. Her life had changed and to get on with it. And eventually learned all those things. But yeah, that's the thing. We've come a long way since then. Yeah, I think
absolutely.
This was 20 or 30 years ago. Was there ever any talk of maybe rehabilitating you to find something that you could do in the military or no?
The thought was, there was a time that I thought about that, just going back into the service. But, I still have my hands. I can still do any data, any computer work or anything like that. But at the time, you're just doing the rehab, and that's just your focus. And just getting out and starting your new life, and you served your term. You did your best. Unfortunately, the accident. I was a blessing that it was a service-connected accident, so I'm getting help from that VA care, and I'll have it for the rest of my life. But
I wonder too, because we hear a lot of negative things about the whole system at the VA and care, but you seem very happy with it. So everybody has a different experience.
I would say that everybody has a different experience. Now, that Walter Reed is what you're referring to, and I did hear about the troops that were going in, or the servicemen that were going into, and I guess every care was just overloaded. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of a sudden it was just...
That's what I was going to say. Like, it's a much different overloaded world with less resource than
right.
1980s.
Yeah.
And I think they were able to dedicate that time and put out that effort for me as being a spinal cord. So there was so arriving at the VA, I'm noticing there's like wards and wards of spinal cord injuries. Everybody here is the same as myself, either a motorcycle accident or a gunshot or non-service connected, but they're still getting the VA care. And, you become friends and you start talking and what's your story?
Yeah.
Well, you all have the camaraderie of the military.
The camaraderie.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because
well put. I think it's a word that's well put, because that's what we're all brothers. We have the mentality that, we're in the foxhole and you got my back, I got your back.
Yeah. Strong bond there. Right?
It is a strong bond. So it's there.
So everybody goes through challenges in life, right?
Right. And again.
And you went through one that was really fairly major, but what would you have to say for other people that kind of go through these things? What lessons have you learned?
Well, one lesson sticks out the most is that coming out of the service, you have your neighborhood friends, your friends that you've had since childhood. And these friends are, taking you in, trying to accept you and who you are, and then changes that you come across, being in the wheelchairs. And they remind you, and they always constantly, without any bad intentions, but they remind you of the past. And I don't live in the past any longer. Yeah. The past is the past. I'm looking for the future. And so I had to make new friends, or just trying to branch out and just look into the services. I had a great family support. Mm-hmm. I had, I joined sports. I was young, so I got into basketball. Didn't care for it. I mean, I wasn't at the time, but I eventually became a team effort. But my sports has always been swimming. Because in track, I did cycling, I did hand cycling. So
now you're talking about adaptive sports.
Adaptive
right?
sports, that is correct. Yeah. Adaptive sports, being the adaptive wheelchair and adaptive hand cycling. Yeah. So many.
I feel like though that kind of is a rope between your camaraderie and military, right? Like you are a team. You are a team. So now you have developed more of like a team mindset over having that experience. So you're like, okay, I need to move around and move as a unit, because my dad being in the military, I think that was one of the hardest things for him, is you lose your team as you leave the military, or the routine and this is what you do every day at 5 a.m.
Well put, yes. I mean, you're accustomed to what your routine job was. But mine was administration and the service. We worked with the IHawk missile, which is an obsolete missile now, no longer exists, and out of white sand. So my experience being in the Army was in the field. That's all I could remember. We're training constantly in the field, in the white sand desert, and just surviving out there and just, learning, getting along with everybody, because there's times that the heat, no water, anything just can go wrong, upset anybody. A delicacy we had, I've actually tried rattlesnake, but it's like beef jerky. The person that knew, I guess, have done it before, and he skinned it, took out the meat, put it on a stick, let it to sun dry, and it tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken. Yeah. So even just training for a missile launch, you're out there doing
You're out there. And I think, with everything that was predicting the future about the war and Afghanistan out there.
Different scenarios.
Scenarios, exactly. Yeah. But we, we're just there. Why are we doing constantly in the desert, never, but we couldn't question it. We just had to do our job and, do the field work.
I can imagine, young men, they've got a lot of questions.
There was a lot of questions. And
what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why are we eating rattlesnake?
Again, this goes back to basic training. I mean, there was a lot of, you come out gung-ho because they would tell you things just to try to break you. And that's the whole idea was to try to break you, to get you out. Because if you couldn't tolerate this, then you weren't meant to serve in the military life. So, see this pile of dirt, take it and pull it over there on that other side over there. And then when you're done, put it back on. And you can't question it. That's the tolerance. That's the mentality that they were just trying to break you. And you did what you did. You had to.
So do you feel like, obviously, like immediately being immersed in that and then having your accident was I don't want to say useful, but kind of, right? Because you're doing PT and OT and doing what they say, and you're just do it.
If that comes to mind, I would say definitely it does, because you just have that ability or that volunteer to live. I felt like it was a second chance, a rebirth, if you want to call that, being born again. And again, in the very, very beginning with the old friends, they just go back to the same habits. They're drinking, excess. So, that was a change, because I just felt like God has given me a second chance to live. I need to live it right.
Yeah. Well, I imagine an experience like this too, accelerates you into manhood, whereas your former friends are still processing and they're still on that journey to manhood. And they have the luxury of taking their time. You don't have that anymore.
No.
Yeah. And we talk about this a lot on the show, is the community. So I imagine that community too kind of took, place of the community and the bond that you had, in the military with these new people that you've met, that they get it. They know, what it's like. It's unwritten, even unspoken a lot of times. We just get each other.
We understand each other. Yeah. We're at the same level. We know what, so that's from the military life. That's part of the reason why, you are what you are. You succeed, you fail, because not every story has a happy ending. But you try to get the support, and there's a support always out there to help you. So it's just reaching out.
Yeah. Oh, and they'll reach back out to you. If you come to any event and, you're going to be love bombed, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. For sure.
People love you. Also, I think that part of the rehabilitation is, in addition to the camaraderie, is you learn more about yourself. Those things that our community isn't going to cut you any slack to a degree, kind of like in the military as well, where you got to do this, no questions asked. And not that there's no questions asked in our community, but we're going to push you, and we're going to push you maybe a little beyond what you thought your limits were, and learn maybe push you far enough so now you know really where your limits are. Because we have limits, but not in a cruel way, but you learn, and it serves you well in your life beyond the adaptive sports, right?
I would agree with you 100% on that, because right. Every generation is changing, and we definitely understood each other at the time, at the age group, but the new generations now are probably not getting it, or I don't know, the word entitlement comes in thought, and we didn't have that. We had to work our way up the salary grade, and nowadays it's like, I want to start me off at $20 an hour.
Start at the top.
What?
Yeah.
But
what skills do you bring that earn that amount of money, please?
Right, exactly.
But they can't articulate it except that, I deserve it.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
And the other thing I don't think they fully realize is what they're getting that may not be non-monetary. It's the experience that they're getting, the knowledge in a particular field, all of those things that somebody is willing to impart to you is part of your income as well, in other ways that'll prepare you to make the money that you're looking for, because you have the knowledge and experience. Yeah. So I would hope that young people would keep that in mind. Yeah.
No, just, definitely don't give up.
Don't give up.
That's the most important thing. Yeah. You have the will, you have the drive, and that goes for everyone. For the youth, if you determine you want something, you'll work on it, and you'll get it. Yeah.
So many possibilities out there, and into the able-bodied world. A lot of times, especially your family and friends, they're taking it easy on you. They want to support you, and sometimes that support comes as help where you should be learning to do those things independently. So you're loving them, but you're not doing them any favors. Right. If you're supporting your family member or friend that's been through a traumatic injury like this, sometimes you just got to let them do it on their own.
On their own.
Yeah.
If you see someone, you get to the point. I know, like every parent would want to help you, insist in helping you, and you drop something and they immediately want to pick it up for you. No, I can do it myself, and it may take a little longer, but I can do it. And that's the only way we will learn.
Yeah. So and I on this show, and Addie, feel free to kind of jump in here anywhere, but so many times people they want to be so helpful that that you don't grow. You kind of get stifled a little bit, and the things that we talk about on this show sometimes it may sound like we're complaining, and I maybe at some point would love to do a show where we just are talking about all the positive things, because everybody we have on these show ultimately comes to a very positive space, right?
Right.
No, I'd agree, but enabled helplessness, right? Like that's what we're trying to prevent. By saying, I was talking to a friend the other day actually about this, and they said, well, what do you say then? I said, well, you can say to them, I would like to help you. Would you like some help, or have you got it? So that you're implying that they could do it. You're offering help, but they don't have to take it. It's not like saying, well, you can't do it, so let me help you. It's not like minimizing them, right?
Yeah,
right.
No, I love that.
From personal use, what I usually do is I always thank the person just for reaching out and offering.
Yep.
But thank you for offering. I always end it that way. And I think they really appreciate it, the fact that they ask, because they have to build up that, should I ask? That doubt.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he has it, but it's just in case, and sure. But thank you for offering. That's the kind of thing you can.
Thank you for your compassion.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for compassion, but I got it.
I got this.
I've had so many people that lead with that. I know you do this all the time. And that is great. Just that they acknowledge that I do this all the time. Whereas a lot of people just want to help, And I wonder in the back of my head, it's like, if you didn't come along, do you think I would have just stood around here waiting for somebody to come and open the door for me?
Some people would.
That's where that sounds like we're complaining coming in, or to me sometimes. But yeah.
That's funny you should mention that, right? So here, someone will open the door for you, and then I'll come along and I'll go and I'll open the door for someone, but they insist and they don't even say thank you. It's like they feel like
it weirds them out.
Yeah, it does, because they're not used to that.
It's just like,
now
what is going on
open
here?
the door for me, So it's kind of
But I think that's cool that you just brought up, Danny, that you also acknowledge that it's probably hard for them to go through that internal struggle of, do I help? Don't I help? Do I help? Don't help? Like, how long do I watch before I'm an ass? Like there's a little timer that says, okay, ask, like the turkey popper.
And I say this all the time too. It's like, I know it looks like I'm struggling, but everything I do looks like I'm struggling. Right?
Right.
We don't really do anything nice and fluid.
It looks like I'm about to fall over, and I'm not fun to fall over. Yeah.
There's struggle in everything we do. Yes, well put.
Yeah.
We live on a struggle buzz. We've adapted to it.
So let's turn the corner, because you're still heavily involved in veterans affairs, right?
Well, with the PVA organization, and then there's also the Triumph Foundation. So 2 wonderful organizations out there that's helping, one for the vets and one for anyone that needs resource. So it's out there. And if you know Andrew Skinner, he's our main guy to go to.
Is there 3 or 4 of him, or is it just seems like it?
Right? He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's traveling and just driving from Santa Barbara to San Diego. And
she's got events all over that area geographically and fairly often. I mean, there you got peer
next
groups.
month. Yeah, we got. So I've become an ambassador for Triumph, and
cool.
so there's that help that he needs in the Inland Empire. So I offered my service. I said, Andrew, you can call on me, and I'd be happy to accompany you or the team to go out to the new patients. Casa Calina's coming up. There's one, and so but one in San Bernardino, one in Casa Calina, and then there's ones in Orange County. But we're looking at that one too. So, but it's quite a few. It is. You're right, Doug. It's quite a few. It's a list of calendars, events we're going.
And it's awesome.
That's amazing. What gave you the heart to give back? I mean, most people, we'd hope most people have a heart to give back, but there's a choice.
Well, as I mentioned during the service and the care that I got, it just felt like a time that, I was blessed with so much. It's my time to pay it forward. Just advice, or if I have an extra wheelchair or any help I can offer, So it comes from the heart.
That's awesome.
So everything I do, and it's just, and just realizing, we have an opportunity and just pay it forward. So.
I'm with you, right? I know, Addie is too. So what's it look like at PVA? What's your involvement?
Well, PVA it's a great organization for vets. We're the advocate voice for the vets receiving their benefits, helping them out in every assistance they need on housing. It could be from car grants. So it's a wide range. And if we don't have the answer, there's a regional office, which is the VSO, and that's most of the cases that we direct our information the patient to go. So newly injured are just keep finding the resources, the rehab, the encouragement, talking with them on the bed, so just visiting. Because just from experience, just going to the hospital and listening to them, because they have to let the vent out, and they have no one else that really, so just, and that bond that you meet, and you could just feel it, they'll speak for hours, and I got time, and I'm here.
There you go. So you go to Long Beach?
Long Beach.
Loma Linda, do you ever go there?
I did. No, I did go to Long Beach. We have this great doctor. She's out there, Dr. Bull. And so, she's one of our spinal cord specialists out there. And I'm trying to get her rehab spinal cord. So I know it's there, but it's not as active as Long Beach, most of the time. So
they're trying to grow there?
They're trying to grow.
Oh, okay.
It's a seed that's just waiting to grow, and it just takes time, So if she needs any help, I'd be more than happy to help her out.
Yeah, excellent. So how about the future? What's
the future? Well, just enjoy much as I can. I'm going on cruises. I'm just kind of finding things to do to enjoy myself. Family time. We have the holidays coming up, so it's about spending quality times with your family, your loved ones. Again, the organization that's just reaching out and helping people out. So it's just trying to stay positive in a negative world. You hear so much hate or so much crime, and it's hard to take in.
Yeah, try to be the opposite of that.
The opposite, right?
It'd be the light in the dark that hangs out sometimes.
So
and I'd imagine, and I don't know this, like I'm speaking off my cuff, but the fact that obviously with veterans, there's a lot of more PTSD and things, right, that come along with things.
There is, right?
They've seen things that we don't see, and your brain, the human brain, is not built to process all that stuff. And I would imagine having someone like you who also knows what that's like is a huge deal, to not be like, oh, you're just telling me not to feel it, but you know what it means to feel it.
No, you feel it, you know it, and then you see the symptoms of someone else having it, and so you pick it up, and then and if they need assistance, in most cases they do, you just try to offer your service.
Right.
But it's something it's within. It's they eventually
inside. They build a beast for you going through the military, and then they say, "Oh, don't show your beast." So you need other people like you who are not afraid of the beast and say, "Hey, I have one of those too. Here's how I keep them."
Keep them in check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I think that's tremendous that you do that. And, holidays are wonderful and nice for everybody, and you have family and friends and all those things, but it is also probably a very difficult time for those people that feel like an island.
You're
so
right.
to have someone like you who says, hey, I'm coming to the island, I'll be there Tuesday,
Yeah. There's, the holidays bring joy, but also bring sadness for a lot of people. Maybe someone lost a family member, and it's just hard. It's the moments, you're trying to be happy on Christmas, but you can't because of a loved one, a parent, or someone close to you.
Kind of feel guilty being happy
exactly
when they're not around.
Exactly, Doug, and. And if you realize at the moment, if you could just take the time and think about, you were given a chance. You're here in this world for a reason, Let's just try to make the best of it in the small time we're here. So just surround yourself with people that love you, and just surround yourself with positive people, and, you can't go wrong.
Gratitude for the opportunity.
All the time.
You have kids?
Yes, I have a 19-year-old boy. His name is Matthew, and he just got a new job here in Rialto, the Target's distribution. So,
awesome!
Yeah, good
job, Matthew.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to when I was 16, I was working at McDonald's, and so it's just the times. Then I moved up to Wendy's, and then I worked at the LA Zoo at the time, and then commissioned the commissary area. So, he just jumped right into. Got a good position. He's happy. Making good money, looking to get a car, so that's...
So you just have the one child?
Yes, just the one child.
The one replica?
My mini-me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Awesome. Well, he has a good role model to look up to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, pick up the positive and,
keep on keeping on.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I definitely... relate to you on that, because when I was young, I was a year old when I got polio, and I just kind of hear about through the family, vocal history that there was a lot of help from organizations. So that's what kind of motivates me, to give back for the things that I got when I was a kid.
You have a daughter, you mentioned, right?
And I have a daughter. Yeah.
Single daughter, just a single.
Yeah, single daughter.
Yeah, just like we having something in common.
And she works now for one of the organizations that helped my family when I was a kid. Totally on her own. You know what I mean? She just that's the path she chose. She went to school for psychology and ended up at Easter Seals working for kids with autism. So
amazing.
She's been there like 10 years, loves it. And she's told me that kind of behavioral science was a very small part. It was like, one lesson, one day over the 4 years of getting her degree, really never gave it much thought, and now that she's gone into it, she loves it. So, yeah, And then she's got, she brought in her daughter, my granddaughter, into the world, and couldn't be happier. Yeah,
that's a blessing. Yeah. That is a blessing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for coming by and spending some time with us.
Thank you, Addie. Thank you for having me. I'm very, very lucky. I feel blessed. And we're neighbors without knowing that we're just around the corner.
Nice. Yeah, now you can roll down to Doug's and be like, hey, oh, hi. I'm coming in March to go to the Abilities Expo, so we'll have to meet when I do that.
All
right.
Be part of our rumbling gang.
All right. It's a date.
It's a date.
It's a date.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people loving with a disability.
Came out of my shower. I slid on a puddle of water and flew up. I don't know, my legs went up higher than my head, landed on the beam of the shower, lost all sensation in my legs. Within like a second, I knew I was paralyzed without knowing I was paralyzed.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live wherever you get your podcasts. Life, limitless, subscribe now.
From the Ugyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Walk and Roll Live continues now, and we're going to tell you who's coming up next week here in a little bit. But before we do that, some plot twists in that one, huh, Addie?
Me and plot twist are BFFs.
Yep.
And if this ain't a plot twist, I don't know what is. For the fact that you enter the military, you think that's going to be your career and what you're going to do, over time, and how those things are going to lead you through life, and you go for a motorcycle ride, and life is different.
Yeah, you think that the military is going to be where the danger is going to come from.
Oh, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like danger meets you where it's supposed to meet you, I guess. But the fact that he has maintained such an attitude and then continues to interact with people in the military and those kind of things, it's tremendous. And I love that when he's talking about his child, he completely lights up. You guys can't see a video, but we often video chat while we do these to make it easier to do and more personal. And the look when you said, "Oh, and you have a son," his face went bing.
I don't know if we've mentioned it here, because Addie and I, we talk a lot off. Before and after the show, we get together, and there's days we get together and just kind of, talk about, what we're doing, what's coming up, that kind of thing. And a lot of it's done on Zoom because you're in Atlanta and I'm here in Southern California. And so it all kind of melts together, And so I don't know if I've talked about this, but, I follow social media, and it's interesting, being, you and I being the OGs, we've been disabled long before social media was around. And so it's interesting to see that intersection between people that become disabled and social media. Mm-hmm. So, you have to keep in mind, I don't know if this is an accurate representation of the whole journey or not. Not to discredit anybody's, what their story they're telling on their social media, but I just, there's some odd things, there's and it's mostly women, and so I don't know what is going on behind the scenes, but it's like, I'm disabled, I've been in a wheelchair for 4 years. Will somebody still love me? Click and let me know. It's like, really? Is that what we're doing?
I guess you see that social media and that culture just bleeds into every vein of culture.
Yeah.
I guess in that way, that's what we could look at. Right? We're not segmented to not do those things because we're different, right? But it is true. It is what you say. But the interesting thing is to think about even how we got our start with each other. Yeah. Me as a poster child, I was doing print ads and little commercials and stuff, and it was to bring knowledge to March of Dimes or UCP, right?
Yeah.
That was offering help to families and things, right? But I'm still stepping out there and saying, hey, I'm Maddie and I'm 5 years old, whatever I was saying. I don't know. Yeah. I just remember sign your team up now because I was trying to get people to do the walkathon.
Right.
But us showing up in media and print wasn't common.
Yeah.
I don't think, right? I feel like it was less common and we just lived.
Well, and now everybody has access to that. That's what I love about it, is that, you could start a vlog or a social media page and make it whatever you want. I think it's terrific. That one is just, I don't know why it gives,
it rubs you the wrong
this
way.
is an old man saying this, so please, take it with a grain of salt. But, I've watching enough. I get these terms. It gives me the ick.
Oh, yeah. It gives you the ick.
As the kids say these days.
I mean, not to be rude, but to be rude, like the Kardashians or the people with the Gucci bag.
There you go.
Those things. I don't care if nothing's wrong with you. That kind of gives me an ick, too.
Yeah.
You need to.
Look at me.
Because I was raised that we work for things. And, you really are not stepping through the screen into their life to go, okay, now what's your real life? Like when you turn this off in the 7 or 10 seconds that you made, what does it really look like? Like we're not doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Have we arrived because there are people on the disability spectrum doing it now?
I kind of feel like, and there's maybe a bit of a odd way. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. That could do as much for awareness,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That could do as much for awareness as anything else, right? We don't know.
Right.
Yeah. All righty. Just thank you for, and any thoughts you have, if you want to share.
I was going to say,
let us know.
Have thoughts, please weigh in. We're two people.
And there's so many of those things that we could do. We've had our conversations about inspiration, and I know there's a lot of people that, but it's a, that have a negative connotation. I don't want to hear that again. I'm just picking up my milk at the grocery store. I'm not doing anything inspirational, so don't say that. But there are times when people are truly doing things inspirational. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But just the day-to-day mundane things that everybody has to do. Yeah, you don't have to say we're inspirational. Thanks. Please don't. Actually, don't.
Yeah. I actually remember I told you I'm gonna be on another podcast, and the guy kind of went down that vein, and I immediately stopped him, and I'm like, I'm not inspiration porn, and he was kind of quiet for a second, and I said, oh, don't worry, we talk all about this. I was like, you should listen to our podcast, because I think he didn't know what to do. He felt like trapped in the corner, and I'm like, I'm just helping you to see I'm just a girl living a life, and I've done some cool stuff.
Yeah. And I'd rather be known for that stuff, Yeah, listen to us. We have these topics, and we talk about them, and there's many different ways. And sometimes we maybe we'll change our stance a little bit as we have those conversations. So it's all good. Yeah, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it too. Good, bad, or indifferent. We're ready for it. We got thick skin, right? We've really hit this kind of area where we're getting a lot of people that want to be on the show. There are people that are reaching out, which is great. We're still reaching out to people. So we're I think we were just talking before we started recording that we're into mid to late February with guests that we're lining up. So if you'd like to be on or know somebody that they have a story worth telling, which I kind of think all of them are fascinating in one way or another. So, please, pass along the name and contact, and we'll get in touch with them and go from there. Ann Keebler joins us next week. She is a young lady who is a mother and a wife, and she deals with all of that with bipolar. Make sure you catch her story next week.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you don't want to be on, but you want to help us out, you can subscribe, listen, save all the episodes. Follow our socials. Hit the buttons on the socials really helps, because then it pushes out to people that are not yet our audience. So it's free.
It is free. And you can go to walkandrolllive.com too and check out some other things that we do there. We've got resources and events and all that. So thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Have a great holiday week before we talk to you next time. And we'll be back here in 7 days with another episode of Walk and Roll Live.
7 days.
Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Doug Vincent, along with Addie Rich from the Aguiar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories, Life Limitless.
Walk and Roll Live.